Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls coming to you from the West Coast. Today I wanted to share with you a nice little box and memory album that I made. It's just a 6¼ by 6¼ by 1 inch deep box, and I used the Crafter's Companion Bundle of Joy collection to make this, along with a couple of other things from my stash. And you just open that box, and it's got a 6x6 little memory album, trifold album in there that you can put a little memorabilia pocket. You got space for pictures and some journaling. And I'll show you how to make both of those. So let's get started. All right, so let's get started making the base part of the album. So start with the piece that's going to be in the back. It's a 6x6 card blank. And then I have two pieces that are 6x7, and they're going to glue on. And I don't know if you can see that I scored them. This one's scored at 7/8 and at 1 inch to give you just about an eighth of an inch little hinge. And that's going to glue onto here like that. So that'll create that back fold. And then this one is 7x6, and I scored at 3/4 and at 1, and that gives me a glue tab, and then just about a 1/4 inch gap, because that's going to go on the front, so that when this folds in, then this will fold over on the top, and it'll give me enough of a room inside to put the pictures and pieces that I want to. Okay, so let's glue that together first. So we're going to start with the one with the 1/8 inch little hinge area, and I'm going to glue that on to here, and I'm going to glue it on the inside. Now I'm going to glue this one on. Actually, I'm going to glue it on the outside. I take it back, because if I glue it on the inside and that one on the inside, then this is not going to fold shut. So I'm going to put it on the outside. So let me get some glue. And you can use red liner tape or whatever you want to use, but I do like the Kalal all-purpose glue because it gives you a little bit of wiggle time to get it in the right place. Just gonna line that up just up to that first fold, the first score line, because I want that 1/8 of an inch hinge so that you've got a little bit of, and make sure when you fold it over that it's square. That's why I like the Kalal glue, because you want to make sure that it's straight here and here so that it lines up. So that one's on there. Now we're going to put the other piece on, and same thing. And line it up to that first score line. The other reason I like this glue is if there's any that seeps out, it just rubs away. Just perfect. And again, make sure that it is square before it dries. That looks pretty good. And see, it's going to fold all up just like that. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to mat and layer these because I want to put any of the decoration on tops of the mats and layers. So, get my mats and layers out here. So I've cut green and then some printed paper from the and it's from the Crafter's Companion Bundle of Joy collection. And we're just gonna mat and layer the front and then the insides. Okay. And then I'm just gonna open this up so that I can, now if you want a very professional finish, and I will probably do this when I'm all done, take another 6x6 piece of white card and just cover that back. In fact, I'm going to do it right now. And if you take the 6x6 piece and just mount it right over the top of that, it'll cover those joins and it'll make this nice, really, really sturdy. Okay, now we're going to go to the inside, and let's start with the very center. So on the center page, I want to put just a photo mat. So I'm just going to put, because I'm going to put a picture in there. And so I've got a mat that is, let me see, how big is this? It's 5.5 by 3.5, so it'll fit a 3x5 photo, which is essentially a pretty standard photo size here in the US. And I'm just going to put that there, but I'm going to mount it on some foam so it's up a little bit. And I'm going to leave it slightly to the front so that we can put some little journaling or something in there. And I like to put just a little bit of glue on my foam tape. One, it gives you just a second of wiggle time, and it also gives you a stronger bond. So I'm going to put it way off to one side, and then you can mount a picture, and I'll just put photo corners on there and mount a picture. And then we'll have room over here to put like a little journaling block or some tag with a baby's name or something. And then on this side, on the inside, I did basically like a little, it's going to be like a little memorabilia, memorabilia envelope. And it's just going to mount on here to, to save stuff in. And so this piece of card is 7 by 4.5. And then it's scored on each side at a 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 1 inch. So 1/2, 3/4, 1. So you get 2 1/4 inch and then at a 1/2 inch on the bottom. And that gives you, and then you score it like that, and it gives you that little hinged side, and you've got the bottom. And then I've got a green matte layer to go on there, so I'm going to put that on first before I glue the pocket in. And then on this, you can use red liner tape if you want, or I'm going to use some tacky glue. Nice and strong. And we'll start with the bottom piece. And then you want to make sure you get it even and straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my ruler. And I'm going to line this up. Right. This ruler is exactly 2 inches across, and there's a line down the middle that I know is exactly 1 inch. And I want this about 1 inch from the bottom. So if I line up my line with the bottom of the card all the way across, now I know it's straight. And then this, I've got my 1 inch mark on the end and my 7 inch mark on the hinge, so I can line it up this way with a 1/2 inch in on each side, and line it up even with the ruler at the bottom, and then I know it's exactly straight and right where I want it. And then once I get that bottom piece done, now I'm going to put the tacky glue on the sides. Don't try to do it all at once because it's too hard to get it all. You're going to end up with glue everywhere. Okay, now fold these down and then fold it down and press. And just hold it until that glue grabs. There. And that gives you a nice little pocket to store memorabilia or, keepsakes in. And I'm going to put, I think I'll put some little stamp design or something on there. No, it's too big. There's some really cute stamps with this, or some flowers. I might do a nice stamp or something. Anyway, I'll do that in a little bit, but I'm going to get the basics of the card done first. So this will be a picture, and you can put little photo corners, or I don't have a picture I'm going to mount yet, but I guess you could actually put a picture, leave that blank, and also for a picture as well if you wanted. Well, it's actually kind of a good idea. Yeah, I might just do that. And then on this side, I did the flip up pictures, and basically there's 4 pieces of white cardstock, and they're all exactly the same, and they're 5.5 by 4. So 4 by 5.5 folded at 1/2 inch. And what you're going to do is you're going to glue one down, and I'm going to glue it so that it's just even with that bottom matte layer. And then once you get the bottom one glued, you're going to glue the next one so that this tab is even with the top of that. just like that. Okay, and then you'll go to the next one and the next one. Okay, so we're going to do one at a time. So let's start with the bottom one. And because you're lining it up with the matte layer, which hopefully you got straight, it's line that up first. And then press down on your tacky glue. Yep. And it slipped when I pushed it down. So that's where wet glue is really nice. That's good. Looks pretty good. Okay. So give that a good rub down. Then the next one's going to go right on top of it. So get some tacky glue. And it's easiest probably to open it up this way and line that up right on top of the other one. And you want to try and make it straight and even. And when you fold these down, you want these to line up. So fold it down, make sure these edges line up on both sides before you sort of commit to the glue. Okay, there's that one. And then we're just going to do the next one. And the next two will go exactly the same way. Now we could have moved that up so that it was more centered, but I kind of liked having a little bit of room at the top, just as opposed to just a tiny little sliver of green. I don't know. I liked it that way. And then we've got some green mats to go on here. So let me glue those down. And then you're just going to do the same thing on each of the other ones. Okay. Now, if you wanted, you could mat and layer on the back. I decided not to. I decided to leave those just white, because then if someone wanted to, to journal on there or to write on there, you've got a nice white finish to write on. Okay. So there's most of the decoration. And then we've got on this piece here, what I decided to do is to just kind of put a layer like that, and I'm just gonna, so that someone can write the baby's name and sort of the vital statistics, if you want to call it that, on there, but just kind of a journaling block. So we're just gonna mat that up so that it looks like it matches. And that's the basics of the little flip album. And there you go. And you could put a little ribbon closure on there if you want. I don't think it's necessary since you put the little hinges in, but I'm going to decorate the front. And so within that Bundle of Joy collection. There's a stamp and die set that's this balloon with a die, and I already stamped, colored, and die cut that, and it's this one and that I'm going to use. I'm going to put that on there, but I want to create kind of a background. I'm going to raise it up, but I'm going to create a background, and I found this stamp set. It's an older one. It's Balloons in Flight, and I'm going to use some of the little individual balloons. And because these balloons are solid, so there's nothing to color, I'm going to use, so I've got lemon tonic in my quick dry. Let me try that. Yeah, I like that. So they're just a little bit subtle in the background. Now, I've also, that same set has some little clouds. So I'm going to use these as well. And I'm going to stamp those. Also with some quick dry. I've got some quick dry ocean blue. So this is going to go on top. So I'm going to move these clouds around, add some more. Just trying to give it a little bit of interest in the background. And then I'm going to ink on it anyway. Now, in the box, there was this embossing folder with a stencil, and I can't use the embossing folder because I don't want to emboss my balloons. I mean, I guess I could, but I think it's going to look weird. But I do want to use the stencil, and I'm going to ink with my water reactive, just my baby blue, to put a little more clouds and just to take away that stark whiteness. So if you can just kind of get it on there. And you don't have to hold it down because you don't really care if it's perfect, because clouds aren't. And you're just trying to get a little bit of color. I just want it very subtle. So I thought the other little hot air balloons and the clouds and stuff just gave the background a little more interest. You could use the other things from the box, like the embossing folder or the edgeable or whatever if you want. Just, come up with something. Just put a little bit of glue on there. I'll put a slight little angle, just like that. And I'm going to put it on the front of my little album, mini album. And that's it. There's your mini little album done. Hope you like that. I showed you how to make the little memory album. So the little mini trifold album. Obviously, this is not going to fit in an envelope, so I decided to make a little box to go put it in. So the album is 6 by 6, so I needed a box that was 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, which is what these are. So this card is, or this cardstock is actually, it's 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, and then scored at 1 inch all the way around. And I scored this one on the box lid, this one on the box base, and you can see I already trimmed out the corners. And we're just going to put this together. It's the standard way of making a box. There's lots. You can watch my other videos on, and I make all kinds of boxes. So if you don't know how to make a box, but as you can see, my little memory album fits in there perfectly. So I set that off to the side. So for the top, I've got some mats and layers, and I cut a piece of the green cardstock that I used to do matting on the album. And start with that. That's going to go on the lid. And then I've got, these are just strips of the patterned cardstock. And I'm going to just put those on each of the sides, just to make that look nice. And these sides are 1 inch. So the green mats and layers, it's 6 1/4 and then 1 inch. So these are 6 by 3/4. And then these are 5 3/4 by 1/2 inch. And this is just the reverse side, the B track, if you want to call it that, of the patterned paper that I used. Okay, and then I've got a piece of white card that's going to go on there, and I'm going to stamp on there. And I did exactly the same as I did with my memory album. I stamped and cut the die cut, except I wanted to make the little balloon more three-dimensional. So I found a nesting die that was exactly the same size as that circle, and I cut 3 yellow circles and 2 green circles, and I just scored them down the middle, glued them together, and then glued them on there to create that 3D look. And it's going to go on there. But let me do the background part first. So for this, I'm going to decorate it essentially the same as I did on the album, because I want them to essentially match. So I'm going to take my stamp set, Balloon in Flight, and I'm going to use some of these balloons to create like balloons in the background. That. And we're going to stamp those in Lemon Tonic, quick dry. I don't want them to be super obvious. I just want them to sort of show up in the background. So that's fine. I'm going to use the clouds, though I did like the clouds. And I'm going to ink that up again with the water reactive. Okay, then we're going to put our little 3D balloon on there with some foam tape. But first I'm going to put that on there. Then I'm going to put that on there with some foam pads. And this will actually fold flat if you wanted to. Like if you wanted to put it on something that you were going to mail, or you can actually fold those flat. But I like the looks of it, just kind of, especially since it's meant to be a hot air balloon, so it's meant to be sort of 3D. So we're going to put that on at just a slight angle. Now that we got that on there, let's go ahead and make our box. I also have quilting clips that I often use to hold the corners for the glue to grab, but the tacky glue usually grabs pretty quick. And there you go. There's your box. So I'll put that right on there. And what a nice gift. I hope you enjoyed that.